Hello there. Today we're talking about items sweet, soft, rich and sometimes bitter. And I'm not just talking about the taste. Sugar, cotton, cocoa and coffee are all tradable commodities and reliant on demand, supply, climate and even geopolitics play its part. Phil Cart from the Gold and Silver Club, also a commodities expert as well, is here to go through each one and explain what exactly the situation is. Because sugar, let's start there, because what a phenomenal year it's having.
Yeah, absolutely. So besides looking at the precious metals, it is worth having a look at the agriculture markets at the moment. So sugar is currently up 30% in 2016. It's been the best performing of the softs. Certainly the demand from investors has been its strongest for soft commodities, which includes sugar, cotton, cocoa and coffee, has been its strongest in over 2 years. We've seen significant inflows from investors into hedge funds, and they're just markets which continue to break out. I mean, cocoa this week broke out to 1 month highs. We've seen sugar at its highest session in over 3 days. The US dollar broke down to 7-week lows just yesterday, and it's created a perfect opportunity for those who don't have a diversified portfolio to not just only look at the precious metals or the energies, but absolutely there's some really big upside potential for sugar, for cocoa, for cotton, and also for coffee to some extent. With sugar, just to give you a bit of an idea, I know we were chatting briefly about this previously. Yeah. Sugar, at the moment, it's come out of one of the most significant bear markets it's been in history. So it's
3 decades.
Exactly, yeah. And so with that in mind, there's the potential for a huge upside here. So it's been one of the most significant bear markets. It's the second most significant there's been. And often when you come out of a significant bear market, you come into a much stronger bull market subsequently. The bigger the fall, the bigger the increase afterwards. So right now, sugar, there's a deficit on sugar, which is likely to last over 2 years in terms of the amount of production. It can't keep up with the consumption at the moment. So we've got a lot of upside we would see. At the moment, sugar is trading just under the 20 level, but we're looking at upside targets of about 22 to 23 between now and the end of the year.
So it's got a way to go. I can't live without actually sugar and chocolate, but coffee very much. I think that's way up on my list. What's the situation there? Do we still love it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, coffee, the biggest demand actually comes from the USA with coffee. You've got National Coffee Day, which is in, I believe it's in September, which is where you see consumption spike with coffee. Coffee is, again, it's very vulnerable to the US dollar, and also right now in Brazil, it's the winter. And what is being watched at the moment is the potential for frost right now. Frost can have a big impact on coffee. So that if there is frost, it will have an impact on the crop, and therefore prices can go up a lot. So we're monitoring that right now. But coffee, it's had a good year. It broke out to the highest level since February 2015. It's actually pulled back to the 136 level just this week, which offers a good opportunity for those who don't have a position to add a position on. There's still a deficit for coffee right now, but weather conditions can have an impact. So we're seeing a bit of erratic moves right now until we have a clearer view regarding the current crop conditions.
And it's so unpredictable and changeable, as we know, being from
yeah,
Britain.
It is an erratic market. It's the #1 most heavily traded soft out there. So out of all the agriculture markets, coffee is the #1 most heavily traded.
Okay, and as we are talking about soft commodities, let's talk about the softest of them all, cotton.
Yeah, absolutely. So cotton broke out over the month of July over 14% to the upside. So it was the best 1 week move on cotton that we've seen in over 4 years. So we've seen some big inflows this year, particularly from investors, from hedge funds. China uses cotton in their manufacturing. They are a big consumer of cotton. We've recently seen a corrective move actually over the last week or two on corrective selling at that level. We got quite overbought. We've seen a technical breakdown in price, but it's come back to a level where, again, investors and funds have been buying the dip. So I see a lot of upside potential with the cotton market as well. Interestingly, also in China, they've also had a number of auctions recently where they had an oversupply of cotton, and that was expected to bring the price of cotton down, but instead it did the opposite, and cotton broke out to yearly highs because there's such a strong demand still for cotton. So I see more upside in the months to come. So cotton, certainly cotton and sugar are the top softs I would keep an eye on right now. A lot of upside potential. Following on from that, I would monitor cocoa and then coffee.
Okay, an explosion of senses today that we're talking about. Things very tasty and very much in demand.